everybody, and welcome to the first very special guest starring episode of the WaterBear Podcast. I, of course, am not the darkness nor the night, but I have a vengeance for explaining these two people's story. I'm not Batman, I'm Oxy, and joining me today I have two incredible content creators, cosplayers, artists, and just generally, awesome friends of mine who I'm super excited to welcome onto the show. So, Alex and Mosh of Cosplayerminds, please go and check them out. I know you can see that back there. Follow them everywhere. I will find you if you don't. So, welcome to the show, you two. I'm super excited to have you guys on.
Hi.
Hello. Apparently we're British now.
Alright, so this is a bit of a learning experience for both myself and, well, not these two lovely people here, because the last time we sat in a call of this format, we were actually appearing on your show, We Talk Shit, and friendly advisory, friendly reminder, you can say whatever the fuck you want on the show. We're just here to have a good time, shine the spotlight on some of the cool and talented things that you guys have managed to do throughout your career and your journey as a content creator. So, by any means, if you want to shout cum buckets at the top of your lungs, go for it, and it will make the
It's a
cut,
bit late for our estate.
Ooh.
Or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd like to continue living here for a little bit.
So, let's get things started. First things first, why don't you tell us a little bit about how your channel found its start, how you kind of got into or integrated into the cosplay community, and what drives your passion behind continuing to dress up as these incredible characters and showing them off to people at conventions?
Okay, so I'm going to say something here. We do cosplay. I do not think we are only cosplayers, though.
Ouch.
And I feel like we get put in that box a lot. But I feel like there is a lot more we do, and we kind of categorize ourselves as comedy.
More so than cosplay?
But how we started cosplaying is actually a very funny story, because this all started during COVID, during lockdown. And, okay, so you can actually start the story, because it starts with some random stuff that you did.
Okay, so I was scrolling through TikTok, as we all did, in 2020, and I got two creators called Lucro34 and Cookie Monster's Kid, who's now Cookie.ie. And they would live stream a lot, and I would sit on Cookie's live, and Jaden's live, and I'll go, I'm really into the cosplays you do, because she did a lot of closet cosplays, and I was like, I wish I could do this. And she was like, you can go open your cupboard, choose a character, and do it. Just create it, just post a video. And if you're ever embarrassed about it, or if you ever don't like anything, you could just take it down later. It's not the end of the world. And I was like, oh, okay. And then the next morning, I woke up early before online school and created a new TikTok account, which is my wait.y account, and posted my first cosplays, which were Owl from Winnie the Pooh. And then just kind of rolled with it. But I decided to keep it a secret from everyone, which doesn't work because it's COVID and everyone's in the house all the time. So eventually, Alex starts to suspect that I'm up to something. And then they find out that I cosplay. And then they give me shit for it for 4 days.
I gave you shit because you lied to me, because I kept being like, you have a TikTok account, don't you? Because he had 2 TikTok accounts at the time, one with nothing on it, and I was like, no, I'm gonna find your TikTok account, mate, you're posting stuff. And this went on for a while until eventually he was like, okay, fine, I have a TikTok account, but don't tell anyone. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. So I watched him cosplay for a while, and I was like, I want to do that. How I do that. So I started. And then he was like, okay, vibes, but you can't tell anyone. This was a bizarre experience. And also, bear in mind, this is during COVID. This is go to your closet and find something that looks kind of like the character and just roll with it. And
we had
we came
one-
from we don't have makeup skills background.
Yeah.
We don't have sewing skills. It was just if we pretend we know what we're doing, maybe something will happen.
We had this one James Charles like mini palette that I'd gotten like a couple years back as well, and like our mother's makeup, and that was it in the makeup department. So we had colorful eyeshadow and a foundation base that didn't match our skin.
That sounds incredible. I love the fact that you were just like, you know what, this seems like something cool, I'm gonna try it, and then let's go about it. And I feel like a lot of the people that inspire me to continue creating and that continue to inspire and influence what I do are those people who are like, screw it seems like fun, I'm gonna try it regardless. So that's incredible to see. I love that like growth that it has gone through. So you mentioned that you focus more on like a comedy kind of style of channel. So would you mind, just for the audio listeners, love you to death by the way, just for the audio listeners or those who aren't familiar with what sort of comedy you guys get up to, what sort of antics you run on your channel, just offer us a brief synopsis of, let's say, your top 5 favorite comedy things that you've done, and screw it, why you
The
do it.
7-second challenge video.
Yeah. So before we get into the top 5, the best way it's ever been described to me, and we've put it in all of our bios, is we make living room style content. If you are hanging out with your friends in the living room just doing random stuff, that is what we're doing. It doesn't matter if we're gaming, if we're just talking, if we're making cocktails, which we decided to do recently. We just wanted to be like, we're just hanging out because we enjoy being funny and doing that type of stuff, and we want to share it. So in terms of top 5, okay, I agree. So there's the 7-second challenge YouTube video. On our alt TikTok account,
The Smurf.
I forgot about that. That was funny. So Mosh got
We're getting the deep lore.
Mosh got LED lights in his room for the first time.
Also in 2020.
And he filmed a video where you were like switching the light on and off and it was blue, and he was like, normal Smurf, normal Smurf. So I was actually going to mention on that account the time that we were actually visiting Cape Town on holiday and we were filming cosplays, but we didn't have anywhere to film, so we had to use the bathroom of our Airbnb.
But it was like really narrow for some reason, and like in a closet.
And we just ended up making such weird behind the scenes videos of basically us just messing around and lying on the floor and doing random things. I love that. I think I'm on 3.
Yeah.
3. What else have we done that's been interesting now?
Oh my god. Okay, so like this isn't on our YouTube channel, and you can't really find it anymore. But when we first started streaming, because we have the whole tie in time thing, we did a stream because we had a collective channel points redemption to put on all our ties, and our chat got there like really fast, so we decided to make it the most painful experience for them. Dressed up in suits, made tea, had a crumpet like cookie plate, a mini table, put slides for the different types of knots, and we went like
spoke in the worst British accents you've ever heard in your entire life.
And like taught them how to do different knots, but because like the ties built up to around like here and we couldn't breathe anymore, there wasn't enough space to do all the fancy knots, so we kept just attempting and then get really frustrated and throwing ties at the camera.
That sounds like something I wish I was there for.
I have a 5th.
Yes.
The 5th is a little piece of hidden lore about us, which is not on any social media, but people have seen it, which it's one of my favorite things. There is a video on Mosh's computer, never got edited, never got released anywhere, but I show it to people occasionally because it is the funniest thing. I don't know what's going on. We sat down to record Streamer Life Simulator.
No, this is Power Wash Simulator.
Oh,
This is
Power
the
Wash
second
Simulator.
YouTube video we ever attempted at when we were still filming in my room in Joburg. We completely lost the plot, did not have any time to record. And if you know us IRL, and if you've been near my computer, we have shown you the video, and we might put it on like a Patreon or something
At some point. But, like, I've shown this video to all of my friends because I find it so funny. I don't know what the point of the video is. It is like a good 40 minutes of footage where we just lose the plot completely. There's nothing that makes sense in that video.
I am entirely here for it, and now that you've said it out loud on the internet, I bet the fans of the show are going to be release the unedited derail video. Like,
I've set up the Patreon. I've set up the
You heard that
Patreon.
here. Do the things right now. That's a threat, listeners, audio listeners too. I know you can't see me, but follow all of the links. Check them out. Do the things. We want to see this. Do it.
Yeah, no, that is definitely the most bizarre piece of media of myself I own, and we've done some weird stuff, but that was just, I don't know, we were tired, it was the middle of lockdown, everything was just bizarre.
I love hearing about all of this, and you have yet to show me this video, so
You've never
been here physically.
I need to find a way to get myself into that premises.
Get
physically
near
so
my
I can
computer
watch-
and I'll show it to you. But don't worry, we'll search through the video for a good 20 minutes trying to find the part, even though we show it to people so often.
Yeah.
That is incredible. So speaking of unreleased videos, unreleased projects, and other sorts of stuff that ended up on the cutting room floor, I'm going to take a bit of a turn now, and I'm going to ask something that not a lot of people actually have considered, really, with the other 0 guests that I've had on the show. Doing great, by the way.
We're proud of you. You got this.
You're doing so well.
Okay. When it comes to the cutting room floor and things that don't get released, is there any video or any post to any socials or even any like piece of content that you went out of your way to record and you feel like after watching it back, you feel like you rather shouldn't have?
So,
I wouldn't say so. I don't know what your thoughts on this are, but my thoughts is I'm okay with everything we've recorded at any point in time. What I don't like is when the technology just doesn't work. And unfortunately, I mean, you saw that when you were on our episode and the iPad literally decided, oh, I can just override footage with other footage. That is beyond frustrating to me. And we've had a lot of those type of issues before, where it won't record a game properly or the audio is not good enough and I just can't fix it. Something like that. And that is the most frustrating thing to me.
Mm.
No, I very much agree.
You-
When the tech that you're using to try and make something entertaining for the people and it doesn't end up working, that is borderline the most annoying thing, except for when you leave a render and it's going to take 4 hours and you step away when it's at 5%, you step back when it's at 99, and the second you sit down, the render fails.
Yeah,
In my but humble opinion.
that was my entire uni experience with midnight deadlines.
that was our entire experience with our last project for work.
Oh yeah, that
Like
was
the past
annoying.
month, every time we tried to export this file, it would like take 2 hours and then be like, no, can't do it.
Exactly. I was present for some of those parts, and yeah, I don't know how to segue out of that. So hard cut, smash cut time. Let's go. Off to a brilliant start. 13 minutes in, and I've already had to reface something twice. Lovely.
Yeah, you're doing great. In all fairness, you can just blame it on our energy. It's the chaos we bring. It's not your fault at all.
No, it's entirely my fault. Entirely. There is no shame to be
Gaslight
had.
gate, keep going, boss.
There is no fault. No. I am gonna gaslight into you saying that I am the problem here.
Is it
let's
me?
see.
Am I the problem?
Okay. No. If anything, it's the technology. When in doubt, blame
the technology.
Blame the technology. Yes, blame the technology and blame the brain too.
Technology.
So a little segment that we like to do here on the show is actually talking about the various technology, the software that you use to create your content, and even just a bit of the process behind the scenes that maybe your fans or viewers or even listeners to the show might not be familiar with. So, without further ado, I am welcoming us into the segment of the show. So, let's get started. Brief synopsis. What does your current setup look like? What does your dream setup look like? And are there any things that you would change if money was not?
Budget lighting.
Everything. Like, you have no idea the budgets we pull, the budget maneuvers. You do not want to see the other side of this room. This looks sort of okay. But this is just, we made a plan.
So even in our actual studio, we had some budget lighting near the end because I was like, I'm not going to fix any of the lighting issues. Like, we're moving in like 2 months, and I pulled budget lighting. But right now, like currently, okay, so we have Mega Desk, which basically means we put 2 desks together. It's Alex's computer and 2 monitors, my computer and 2 monitors, so 4 monitors in a row. Then we have a mic on a boom arm with the lamp that clips onto it, plugged in into a extension cord that is sitting on top of my computer right now. Ring light, fairy lights, lamp, and red and blue funky light back there with a singular webcam.
Before you get into tech, I would like to say something that we're definitely working towards having again is our studio. We did the move out thing and it's been great, but I can't without the studio, and we're working towards finding a way to have a place where we have our studio. It is very rough to work in a bedroom.
And to take 15 minutes to set up lights before we want to do absolutely anything.
And that's on a good day. That's when they decide to cooperate.
Oh, I also forgot we have this little like this light up here. It's something from Typo, which makes a circle color light that we have at the curtains. Lots of budget things, but it's like it works. Our dream setup would be 2 pod mics. Probably an actual camera with a tripod.
Oh yeah, we're using a webcam we got in America.
Yeah.
Because Mosh's friend's brother had a webcam and we were like, that looks better than ours, and we ordered it off Amazon.
Got delivered to the Airbnb.
No, it actually got delivered to the hotel.
Oh yeah, we had to time it. We got delivered in New York.
Oh my gosh. I just remember that day I was so tired and I had to find it because I knew the delivery had come. And I went up to the concierge and for some reason my brain was just like, no. I said words at this person. They were not English words.
I went, where are the Amazon pickups?
I was just like, I'm so sorry. Let me try that again.
But basically our dream setup is what we had in our studio before we moved, which is like the background, having the tiles up, having an art wall right next to us with like just a background that we've decorated. Probably 2 key lights instead of ring lights because they just function better.
Also, our ring lights commit the unalive a lot.
Yeah, they
I don't
do.
know why. They constantly commit the unalive.
But in terms of like hardware, I have a beast of a gaming computer, which I'm very happy with.
Although I would definitely upgrade the mics. We have struggled so much with
we said
mics.
pod mics.
Yeah, and as you said, the camera. In terms of software as well, though, I'm very happy with the budget software, actually. I think you can go a lot further with budget software than budget hardware.
Orbis and DaVinci.
Orbis and DaVinci. Or a vibe.
Exactly. No, it should be Shiad. Like, I don't know. I tried to say Da Vinci backwards and my brain just turned off.
So, yeah. The only thing I miss, but I just will not pay for, is After Effects. And I had it when I was in uni. That is like the only piece of software that I would really like, but I refuse to pay those amounts.
Maybe we become Maybe we do a little.
So I would like to just touch and just get a little bit more insight into the editing process and like the software that you use, because I'm very interested in the like actual from idea all the way through to a fully ready to upload project. I love seeing the timeline, and I love seeing where like iterations are made and how the project and the system works. So as briefly or as in much detail as you would like, what does your workflow from initial video idea all the way through to a video ready to upload onto whatever platform? What does that process look like? And what's that?
It always starts with Mosh. I have an idea. Literally.
And then I go, okay.
And then I say my brain. And then I like, is that weird? And he's like, no, I'm just thinking about how we should make it work. This is kind of the brainstorm process we got going on. Is literally I'll come up to him and I'll be like, you know what we should do? Because I think it would be funny.
Yeah, and then I try and figure out how to do it. Then once we've like actually figured out how to go about doing our idea, it's usually OBS that we record on, and if not, it's like a phone that we put on our computer afterwards. But from OBS, we go straight into DaVinci.
Except when we use CapCut, because sometimes we need to edit on our laptops, and I love DaVinci. If it's not on my computer, it will not run. It just won't.
But like in a perfect scenario where we've like actually opened DaVinci, we do our audio fixing, we do our light color correction and our video editing. Even a lot of the animation that we do is in DaVinci, unless I do it on Procreate. But
yeah, I think the editing process has changed a lot, and especially for me, I really loved editing, and that's why I studied film. And like it does to a lot of people, uni made me hate it with like a burning passion, and I got a massive block to editing for a while. And I think between editing for a couple of other people and between the way you were editing, it kind of started getting me back into it. And now I feel like I'm getting closer to find a style, but it's still a little bit frustrating sometimes, because I'm like, I want a product, an end product, but I also cannot get in my way.
yeah, so with editing, a lot of the time it's Alex doing the first like rough cut. I'll go in and do smaller cuts, and then Alex will watch and do like a final overview. That's sort of the like unspoken pattern that we have going on. And then it's just render. Oh, while Alex is doing final cuts, I'm always doing thumbnail or whatever else we need for the video that doesn't need like actual video things. And then we upload.
Yeah, so we've been bad about it recently, just with the going back and forth and visiting home. But in general, something that's helped a lot with the content process is deadlines. There is this deadline. I don't care how it looks, and the video will be out. Because if it's not out at that point, the footage will just sit on the computer forever. We get too much of a mental block. We're like, no, it's been too long. We can do better stuff now. We can make better content. We have better equipment, whatever the reason is. And it doesn't go out. And what would happen is we'd basically either spend a month trying to perfect a video or just not post the video, which was just not okay. So at the beginning of this year, which I think we've done pretty decently, we've had breaks, but we've done pretty decently on it, is we've been like, okay, the videos just need to go out. They need to be recorded and go. That's it.
I find that having a deadline and following a workflow to the point where you're self-imposing like limits and like restrictions on yourself, like no matter what happens, this has to be out to some degree, can help like spur that creativity. Because then what I found as well, and I've actually spoken to some other content creators as well who have also had this experience, where after they're done with an edit and they put up the video and then they give it like that one, like at least in my opinion and for some other people that I spoke to, you give it that last watch on YouTube where you're like, okay, this project is done. I can sit back now and just it's not a stressor for me anymore. Everything is completed, and then as you watch it through, you're like, oh, okay, if I ever want to follow this format again or this style again, this is something I would tighten up. This timing of this bit or this skit didn't land as well. Maybe this should have been cut out, and I find that's a very good way to actually define your style and even your pacing of your videos, especially coming from someone myself who has a background in some basic skit comedy first before I did the whole gaming thing. But this isn't about me. Like, it's just it's interesting to see that process, and it's something that I personally agree with, and I think that you guys are doing great so far.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
You must release more often.
We're trying.
I am trying so hard. Like, I don't think you understand how hard. I need an editor. I can't afford an editor, but I need an editor just for that rough cut part because it takes so long. And between work and cosplays and everything else.
I want editor, please and thank you. Give me editor that's affordable.
If you want to practice some skills for a very low rate. Literally, I love doing the fun stuff, but just that bulky cut that just takes forever. It's rough. 'Cause now I have to make time for it and schedule it.
No, I agree with that as well. And it's usually that where it's like, oh, I recorded for like 40 minutes or so, but I have to end up cutting out like 13 odd minutes of it, and you rewatch and you rewatch and you rewatch, and you try to cut out the dead air. And that's the thing that a lot of people outside of our industry, as I'm coining the term for the first time legally on the show, our industry, as it were, people outside of it don't really understand the time, the effort, and the process that goes into the moment between where you're doing the fun stuff of doing the recording, you're making the jokes. If you have in your two's case where you have someone else to bounce ideas and that creativity off of, the making of the video, the recording is the fun part. Even the like preparing of it is sometimes the fun part, where it's like, ooh, I'm gonna do this, but I'm also gonna record it, and that's gonna happen, and they're gonna be here, and you just follow the process through. And then when it comes to the edit, that's where a lot of people lose their steam, lose their focus, and that's why I think we've seen a lot more people in the content scene, specifically in South Africa, but also around the world, move towards short-form content where, because of the streamlined workflow that we experience, it allows you to go from the fun bit of creating, expressing your ideas, and getting your creative juices flowing to the edit in a much more streamlined version. So that is the smoothest segue I have done this show as I segue into the next question. In your opinion, between the two of you, and I would like for you to answer individually if that is okay, but which style or format of content do you prefer? Do you prefer making and consuming short-form content, or do you prefer more long-form?
I'll tell you, we have the same answer. Unfortunately, we have discussed this to death, and we very much agree with each other, but we can both answer.
We don't know how to do short-form content.
I don't. We started long-form.
Does anyone?
No. People do. That's the thing. There are people who started with short-form content, and they know what they're doing. And then you get us YouTubers here who are like, yes, long-form content. And then we just make really bad short-form content.
But the thing is,
you saw my shorts video.
Stripy shorts. I have hot shorts.
No. Those have a massive hole in them.
I'm aware. I have high-waisted shorts. We have lots of shorts. It's okay. We're doing great.
But no, it's a real issue, and like it's why so many like TikTokers who try to make YouTube videos, who try to do live streams, just struggle so much because they started with short form content and they have no clue how to keep people entertained for longer periods of time. And people who started with long form content have no idea how to make a short 60-second or less video.
I agree fully with that. As a boomer of the YouTube space, TikTok was a mistake. YouTube, I know you're watching this. Kill shorts. TikTok is all we need. It consumes enough of our time. Please.
So, yeah.
As someone who's been here since
So TikTok was a great place for cosplay during lockdown, and I'll say that, and that is where I was okay with the short form content and I was able to make it. It was a really good space to share cosplays with like-minded people, other people who cosplay were doing similar things. But what I found, sorry, do you want to say something?
Yeah, also like when TikTok was pushing the lip syncing, the comedy skits to lip syncing, like they weren't pushing original audios and stuff. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. So basically my thoughts around this though is I think TikTok was an incredible space as much as, yeah, there was toxicity and there was drama. In terms of during the lockdown period where people were just very authentic and people came out and they were just themselves, and that was a massive thing for me and what led me into all of this in terms of content creation and cosplay was just, yeah, just be yourself, be silly goofy, and I love doing that. And lately I've noticed a lot of people on TikTok are very much backtracking now. They're very much like, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. It was so cringe. Like, no, you did that to get to the point where you are now. Appreciate your work. Appreciate your authenticity. Yeah, I don't love everything I created in the past, but I can look at a lot of it and be like, wow, I've grown from there. I've done a lot. I can actually see real progress, and I'm still proud of the fact that I was true to myself, that I came on the internet and I was like, this is me. Accept it or leave. I don't care. So, yeah, I'm struggling with TikTok at the moment because people are just like, oh my god, I was so cringe.
Shush.
Personally, what I've found is when you're able to look back on the stuff that you've made and not look at it in the sense of like, oh, this was bad content, I didn't enjoy making it, but god, if I wasn't cringe, that for me is one of the hallmarks and one of the key signs that your content has progressed and your style has evolved, which brings us into the next segment, if I may, real quick. I don't know why I'm being so polite. I just decided I'm changing tone all of a sudden.
It's the polite oxy era.
I don't know how audio only formats work, audio listeners. I love you to death, but I don't understand how this works. I'm a YouTuber by trade. Okay, let's see. Gosh, I'm digging through all of my stuff here now real quick. Let's see.
Distraction.
We need to actually put up Subway Surfers. Okay, I'll distract myself with this. Let's see. There was something about evolution that I wrote in here somewhere, and I can't find it now.
Oh yeah, you were on it, Mosh. You were on it,
no.
and you scrolled.
Where?
How did you evolve your style to follow your growth as a content creator?
There, yes. So yes, let's bring it back. Speaking of the growth that your channel, your style, and even the format that you have been putting out there on the internet and through your content, how would you say that your style is evolved to follow your not only your growth as a content creator through watching the old cringe and wanting to do better, but also how did this evolution change, or no, how did this evolution mirror the kind of, how did the evolution bear with me,
I believe in you.
Got this.
I don't how did this evolution mirror the growth that you went through in your real outside of content life?
So one thing about like our content is when we started, we always say we already became friends in 2021-ish, because it's just very accurate. Like we
Wait, did we mention the sibling thing?
well, yeah, we're siblings.
So we've always been siblings, obviously, and we've always loved each other. But in terms of us being friends, that's a more recent development.
Yeah, that was like 2020. So
which was 4 years ago, almost 5, if anyone's counting, and having panic attacks with me.
leave me alone. But
Do you feel old?
Yes, it's terrifying.
But when we first started making content, it was because we really enjoyed spending time with each other and being like friends with each other and stuff. And as time has progressed, we've gotten better at like we actually started making content because we were like, we riff together really freaking well and we should make content. It's something we're both really passionate about. But every time we sat in front of a camera, it was like the thing wasn't there. The thing that we find funny, that we want to put on the internet, just wasn't there. And more recently, like what we started doing with the We Talk podcast, it was just to get us like flowing in front of a camera and talking like properly, and we're finally getting to a point where that's actually coming through in our content. I think that's the most like evolution wise within like growing as people, because I feel like a lot of the content we make is very similar, and we have taken a lot of the archaeologist approach to content where we just keep digging to try and find something that's like going to hit. And yes, there's evolution like within that and within our style and that, but I feel like more of the evolution comes to just getting more and more comfortable in front of a camera and finding the correct vibe in front of a camera.
So I don't know if I'm jumping the gun on this to something else you wanted to ask, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think one of the best things that we ever realized was just how unimportant we are.
No one cares.
Just how much nothing matters. Because when you have that realization, that is the most freeing thing ever. Because it means you can do whatever. You can have, obviously, don't do anything illegal, not promoting that whatsoever, don't harm others. But in terms of just making stuff you want to make, putting yourself out there, just being yourself, being weird, because nobody cares. And it also has helped in the content way, in our approach to content, because we look at everything we put out through a different lens. It's like there's so much content out there, there's so much for people to consume. What value am I adding to the space? What am I putting here that people can actually find enjoyment in and can find value in? And it also frustrates us a bit too much when people don't, because I'm like, but why am I watching your content? I'm not understanding, and I think it's a little bit harsh from that point of view, but there is just so much great stuff out there. Why am I going to watch something if you're not adding to the space? If you're not adding something, and it can be as little as, yeah, that was funny. That's great. But add something. Don't copy someone else's content or try to be someone else. It's not going to work. So as bad as it sounds to be like, yeah, I don't matter, you don't matter, none of this matters, it was actually the most amazing realization to just be like, it doesn't matter. Have a great time.
I've been yelling this to everyone for like a year now, even at Comic-Con last year on all the panels. I kept saying, life is silly and no one cares. So make them care.
That is actually one of the great takeaways that I not only found from meeting you two, and with how inspiring and endearing you two have been of my resurgence in the YouTube space. So once again, I just have to like offer credit where it's due, and you really knocked the nail on the hammer on the nail there for sure. And that's a sentiment I second here, audio listeners, video watchers as well. That's actually going to bring us into another question that I have that isn't actually on the official questions page.
Ooh. Ooh. Impromptu question time.
It's still planned. It's still written down, so don't give me too much credit. Let's see. I'm gonna pitch a scenario first, just to like put you in that headspace before I ask the question. So, as an example, Comic-Con is around the corner. A lot of people are going to be meeting yourselves, myself, a bunch of the other content creators that they consume, possibly for the first time, but a lot of the same like group and a lot of the same faces that become our regulars we will be seen at the con. But say, for instance, someone who has recently joined or subscribed to the channel walks up to you and says, how do I start making stuff the way you do? What is one piece of advice that you would give them in order to kickstart this content journey for them?
You don't.
Yeah, please don't. I know that sounds terrible to say, but do what works for you. And I think this goes for everyone. Like, I have influences. Of course I do. There's people who I look up to who I think make amazing content to inspire me every day, but I don't want to make their content, and it's very obvious. Like, I've had friends who do it. I know a lot of people who do it, who try and mimic somebody else's content. And unfortunately, you are not that person. They already putting that out there. They're adding that to the space. So if the question is advice on making content, do something you love. Be authentic. This stuff's hard. You shouldn't look at it as a job straight off the bat. And if you can, if you're one of the lucky few, great. 9 times out of 10, you're doing this because you're passionate about it. You're doing it because you freaking love it. And you are going to hate it if you try be me or anybody else. Be yourself, do your thing, and that's where it becomes a passion thing. That's how you just love making content for yourself.
Yeah, and in terms of like just like how do I get started making content, you just do it. Just think of one thing to do, just do it. That's the only way you're going to start.
And if it's bad,
you can only go up.
Yeah, exactly. You're only competing with yourself here.
Yeah, that is actually a very lovely answer, and you rounded that off, like coming from the previous segments as well that you just mentioned. And I think it offers a bit of an insight as well into like kind of the direction that you took with your content in pursuing it as more of like, I love doing this, it may be a hobby, but screw it, if I don't love doing this, sitting down to make something interesting and just contribute a part of myself out to the world to be entertaining, to be funny, and to ease someone's problems, even if just for those brief 30 seconds of the random TikToks that we're putting up there, then that is my goal achieved. And honestly, I can resonate with that, and I think it's incredible what you guys are doing with that, honestly.
Thank you.
And with that said, let's move on to something a little bit more in-depth now. Now we're getting into the real kind of like shaky and shivery and stormy waters of the question today. Don't worry, there won't be anything about anything of anything, but let's just move this on to the business. So, this segment is going to be a lot more of the like kind of questions you might expect from Q&A panels at Comic-Con, the kind of things that your MC would ask as well. I know you've got the copy in front of you, and you can kind of see as I'm removing questions as they've been handled, what's still remaining. So, let's move into the first big question, and this is also a hypothetical for anybody who's watching on YouTube. Let us know your answers down in the comments as well. I'd like to get a bit of a conversation going here so we can build a bit of a engaging conversation around the podcast, because ultimately that is just the goal of the show, is to just have an interesting chat with some very talented people who I very much adore, and just see if there's not any lessons that you guys are able to pass on to anybody who may be sitting on the fence who's like, I want to, but I'm not funny enough. So, first big question. And this is a would you rather. So play along in the comments, or however podcast reviews work. I don't know. Which would you rather be forced to make for the rest of your content career? Short form content or long form content? And I know this is an easy one.
Long form.
100%.
You can do so much more with long form.
I know people are blowing up off short form, but I can't. So
you can
scary.
do so many cool things off long form content. You could. That's like the possibilities are endless. Except for making a video under 60 seconds, I guess.
Yeah. But I like the long form. I like having things to put in there. I mean, yeah, it's what I very much enjoy doing. We actually spent a lot of time Twitch streaming, so I like having a longer period of time to just talk nonsense.
Follow-up question, because that one was so simple. What is it about long-form content that actually keeps you drawn to it and makes you want to pursue that more in depth?
Okay, this is a bit weird, but I think I like over-explaining myself, which I'm working on. I am, and I think it may stem from some anxiety, but who knows? I like having space to be like, hey, I have all of these ideas, I want to put them somewhere. Like, one of my favorite things, which we haven't mentioned yet, is actually the CMV we did. The Technoblade cosplay music video we did on our page. And yeah, I've done probably well over 100 short form cosplay videos. that is something that I'm like, I've put work into this. I thought it out. I storyboarded it. It was multiple days of filming, which was awesome. It was different locations. It was the cosplays. It was everything put together. And it was frustrating at times, and things went wrong. And when I actually had a finished project that I go onto my channel and I'm like, yeah, there's things I'd fix 100%. There is. But I love this project because I know what went into it. And it's definitely one of my favorite videos. You don't get that in 30 seconds. As much as you plan, and you can make and I've seen some brilliant 30-second videos, like hundreds of transitions in the same video and all of that stuff, and it's awesome.
Dude, the one we saw recently!
Yeah, it showed up on my page as well. It was 100 transitions, and that's really cool. It's just, that also is like so rough to me because I know how long that takes, especially when you were doing those. Do you remember when you were doing those big transitions?
Yeah, they're still pinned to the top of my .wait.y page.
Yeah, and you spent a full day, like from early morning to like 3 o'clock in the next morning doing a million cosplays, and it's like, okay, that's the coolest thing ever. It's 30 seconds though.
Yeah.
And even that 1 week where we decided we were insane people and we were going to do, how many cosplays did we do that week?
We did like 16 in 4 days.
Yeah, it was like we scheduled everything down to when different people showered.
Yeah, like depending on like what makeup you had, when you get to snack, like what break you get, bathroom breaks. We were, like us and our friend Sage, we scheduled everything down to like the actual minute of what we were doing in a day, and like working against load shedding, moving to our dad's house.
To film different parts, yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that. But basically my point about that is that was a ton of work, and we did it all for short form content. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really go back and watch most of it. And
no, I hate it.
Even the big transitions that we did for that, it's like, okay, yeah, but there's one moment in it I don't like, and it's so short that it's like not really something I can overlook. But when you put that work in for something that's like, feels like a completed product to me, feels like a finished project, then that seems worth it to me. I feel like it just gives a much better return than the shorter videos. And I know not everyone agrees, but...
But like imagine in 2020 when we did a different cosplay for every single day of October.
Why did we do that again? I'm starting to realize we used to hate ourselves.
But like we spent literally over a month cosplaying, making videos. Each cosplay had at least like 3 to 6 videos per cosplay, and I don't look back on that. I didn't feel accomplished at the end of that. My big transition with every single cosplay from that month does not feel like something big.
No, it was so much. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, I get a much more fulfilled feeling from my long form content.
I can personally relate to that as well. And I guess when you're dealing with the restrictions of you need to snag someone's attention, you need to get the idea and the thesis, as I put it, of the video out there, and you need to like keep that attention and then keep it going throughout the runtime, because as we know, or rather, I'm gonna refute this because it is time for the next question, and this one is very much please don't stab me for this one if this even makes the final cut type, editor me. So, let's get on with it. What are your thoughts on the massive resurgence that we've seen of long-form content on platforms such as Musical.ly that became TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and then even the Facebook short videos that they've been doing and Instagram Reels? As we know, or as it has been stated by various sources that I'm not going to cite because I am bad at my job, there seems to be a correlation between a decrease in viewer retention on YouTube and in general in platform, and even a reduction of attention span, as these platforms have started to give rise to the quick burst of dopamine format content programming that a lot of us know and consume today. But what is your thought on the supposed or the alleged correlation between declining attention span and the rise of these short form content platforms. Do you think they're related, or do you think it's just a coincidence?
100%.
I think okay.
I think they're very related because actually we spoke about this a bit in the past, but TikTok and like a lot of like any type of short form content platform that you sit and you scroll on and people say is like reducing attention spans. I think people fail to like acknowledge, because people will be like, oh yeah, back in the day, like you would go and read a book or something. It's all a form of escapism or just like a distraction for us. And yeah, back in the day, you wanted a distraction, you would go watch a YouTube video. You even think about like Vine. People would scroll on Vine for hours and then Vine died, so we went back to YouTube videos. So then yeah, no one could watch movies because they were all on YouTube, which was like 17 to 25 minute videos. And then they were also like saying, oh no, like everyone has a short attention span, and now it's like less and less. But ultimately, I think it's the fact that everyone just wants a distraction from life, and whatever is the current distraction, that's how long their attention span will be. So like if all short form content were to die out and people were to move like back to YouTube, attention spans would go up again. But I feel like it just kind of goes with whatever's like in at the moment.
So I think that's actually a bit of an interesting question, because first of all, there's the implication of it. Is it necessarily a bad thing that we have shorter attention spans? And to some extent for myself, it was really bothering me, and I actually started doing a lot of work to be like, okay, I need to focus more. It's really bothering me that my brain cannot focus. But on the other hand, I have this weird thing with movies. I don't like watching movies because they're too long. That does not mean I will not watch an entire season in one sitting. And I don't know why my brain does this, that it's like, yeah, but if you like chop it up into like 25 to 40 minute segments, and then you kind of just put like, even if you just slap the name of the movie at the beginning of each segment, and then you put some credits at the end, which I will always skip, yeah, great, I'll watch it then. But I also think, that being said, series are made to hook you like that. They're meant to leave you wanting more, even if you're going to sit there and binge it. So I think the rise of short form content and the shorter attention span actually creates a lot of opportunity for long form content. It gives us a lot of wiggle room to play with and make different types of content that people weren't making before, to be like, hey, here's your reason to stick around. Here's why I think you should watch this. And it is sad that sometimes it's hard to convince people, and you need the short form content to convince people that like, hey, I've actually got something here for you that will still give you the same dopamine hits. Like if you even look at what Mr. Beast does with just continuous dopamine hits throughout his video. It's like, yeah, that's great, but how do you have to market it? You have to cut it down to about 30 seconds of that to show people like, I've actually got a reason for you to be here. So it's positive and negative, and it's very hard to put it in a box, because I think most things are like that. I think most things have their ups and downs, and you just got to work within them.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. I was actually going to mention Mr. Beast's signature editing style with the 30-second to about a minute and a half segments that he does, and we've even seen some more prevalent and like long form style creators have also started to migrate over to this sort of style, as examples such as Eddie Burback, who has been piece of information, bit of the review, like seen with his AI self-driving taxi video, and with the Apple Vision Pro video that he did. You see, it will be a hook or it will be a thesis statement in the segment. He'll cover some information, he'll break it up with some pacing, whether it be B-roll, a random analogy, to just keep, like, re-grab the attention at these dips in like the retention graph that we would see on YouTube as a platform. Same with Ted Nivison as well. A lot of his recent content has also been, you set up a main thesis for the video and this is the premise that you're promising, but then as the video goes on, you start to segment it up to steal attention back at moments where you think the audience might be trailing off, or you're not delivering the thing that they are promised in the video. Because as we know, YouTube has also suffered a very large issue, and it's been very prevalent in the Let's Plays and the gaming walkthrough videos, where people will just sit and riff and explain what they're doing and ask to subscribe for like 30 minutes before the video starts.
Yeah.
And then have the 5 minutes of the thing that they're doing, and then go on another 30-minute bender about subscribing.
I actually want to add to what you're saying, because it's very frustrating that, yes, I'm aware that is the formula. I mean, I think we all are. If you're making any form of content, you know what the formula is. But sometimes I'll find myself doing that and I'll be like, no, but I had more fun with this specific thing. I know it's not correct. I know it's not theoretically grabbing attention every few seconds,
It's
but I
all
was
about retention.
genuinely, and retention, but I was genuinely having a good time. And I find that very difficult in editing, because sometimes I play like a game where I'm like, okay, don't zone into it. If you were just listening to this, where do I lose myself? And then I'm like, okay, great, it's here, so cut. But sometimes I'm like, yeah, okay, but that was actually really interesting. And even if it's just for me to go back on it and see how I reacted in this moment, or see how this discussion played out, I really enjoy it. So I very much struggle with finding the balance of what do I keep in and how much do I play to the system.
It's sort of the question of where do you kill your darlings and where do you pander to your audience, you know?
Yeah.
Basically.
No, that's a brilliant way to wrap it up as well, and put a pin in that quick segment that we had there. So, speaking of theoretically optimizing for the algorithm and for your audiences that you've kind of started to figure out using demographic data and through the analytics profiles that are offered on these various platforms, let's jump ahead a little bit. Let's fast forward. Say you've got a good workflow down, you've got a certain audience, a decent following at some point. What does your channel and what does your content look like in 5 years from now? What does that vision look like to you guys?
I've never thought about that.
Yeah, it very much goes with where we are. So that's interesting, because then you're asking, okay, what does my life look like?
Okay, so I have no clue what our life looks like, because our life is freaking weird. But ideally, with what's going on with our content, is just activity everywhere. Like 2 to 3 videos a week, probably having like an editor that we can only be in charge of like one of the videos, but it's 3 different types of videos. So if we're only in charge of like the podcast or like the gaming video or the skit video, whatever it is, like, so we can like distribute work, have some semblance of a team, probably live streaming, short form content places, like consistency on every social media.
Actually, that's so interesting that you brought up. We love getting people involved. I don't think people realize this when they begin hanging out with us, but you are going to be involved in our content somehow. I know you think you don't do this. I know you think you're going to get left out of it. You cannot hide from it when you're around us, because we just like involving people. It's like, you're here, you can do this too, in whatever way you find fun. The reason I bring that up is because Mosh just mentioned a team. And that's something I've been trying to get right for a while, is having a lot of people involved. Having a lot of people working on the content, because I love that. I think it's incredible when you can take multiple people's perspectives and ideas and mix it all together and get a final product. It's one of my favorite things. Take it away from me. Ooh. Okay, lost my train of thought there for a second. No, it's okay. The way I see our content is it is a skeleton. It's exactly what I want it to be, but it's bare bones, because I have stuff going on. I have a job. I'm actually very focused on my career at the moment, because I am on a very good track. Mosh is about to start studying. Before that, he was in matric and I was studying. So there's been a lot of life stuff outside of content that is also just as important to us, also stuff that we work really hard on. So to find the balance is difficult. So I think what we're doing is perfect. It's exactly what we want to be doing. It's just not enough. If we could dedicate more time, more people, more money, it would be exactly what my ideal channel would look like. It would be my exact ideal content. It's just about learning how to get the resources to that point.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. Finding that balance is a very crucial skill that we as content creators need to find in order to make sure that we don't get burnt out, or we don't end up like Oxy a year ago, almost to the day actually, where it's like, I'm retiring, and you know, you leave so much of yourself in the content already, because this is you're expressing your ideas, you're putting out your work, you're putting effort into something that hopefully other people will enjoy. And ultimately, if everything else behind the scenes is also like crazy and chaotic, and you know, your mind is so like separated between everything, obviously that can make the creative process difficult, because then you have idea bleed over, and you have like the anxiety and the stress of like insert adult life anecdote.
Yeah.
The worst part is that we have found this has happened so many times. Every time life gets too much, like Mosh is writing finals or something happens where we're not making content, you see it in our mental state. And it's very bad. It's something we've noticed we always have to get back into within a short amount of time. Otherwise, there's just major declines. And that's why, like, you have brought up analytics and numbers a lot. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, yes, it is somewhat important to me. I would love to do this every day of my life. I would love to think about that. But realistically, I don't. I stopped checking analytics a while ago, because I'll occasionally glance over and I'm like, oh yeah, green arrow's going up, great. I'm doing better than I did last time. That's awesome. But it's just so much not the core reason of why I'm doing this. If you can be part of that journey, if anyone watching can be part of that journey and find happiness, find inspiration, that's awesome. I don't care what the numbers say. It's too much to think about. It's not relevant to me, because I know that somebody enjoyed what I was doing at some point, even if it was just me. Even if I enjoyed doing it, that's enough.
Mosh, is there anything you'd like to add to that, or?
Sorry, no, it's very much the same, especially as someone who like it went out of my way to seriously understand analytics and how platforms change their algorithms, how algorithms are built off people's like content preferences and stuff. I very much understand it in like a very deep and like integrated way. I'm also someone who reads over literally every single terms and conditions and like privacy policies that any app has ever given. So I like really understand it. And every time I looked at it in terms of my own content, I was like, but why does it matter for me? Like, how is it affecting my life?
Funnily enough, we'd love to be content managers. It's like a very side goal that we're not working towards. But if somebody wanted to be like, hey, tell me what to do, look at my stuff and do it, I'd love to do it. Doing it for myself hurts, because I'm too close to it. I take the little things into account. I take my day-to-day life into account, my emotions, my feelings. I'm too close to it. For anyone else's content, I look at business's content. Literally a side hobby of mine, which is sort of becoming my career now, is marketing. I love that shit. I look at companies that do ads well. I look at why they do them badly. I look at what's wrong with it. I can look at other people's content and I'm like, well, if you were just doing this, you'd do so much better, because I'm not close to it. And that's the way my brain sees it. So it's a very different ballgame when you're talking about your own stuff, though. It becomes messy.
Of course, you either get over analytical and over critical, and then you end up hating the thing that you made, or you end up in the space where it's like, yeah, it wasn't fantastic, but I don't know how I'm going to do any better than that, and it can just impact that flow of actually I'm enjoying the process, I'm getting stuff out there, and just enjoying everything as it comes. So that I can relate to that as well. Being a single person channel that is run by myself, it is agony at times, let me tell you, audio listeners.
As someone who watched you take down a scheduled video, you gotta give yourself more love. You gotta give yourself more love. You put it out there. You did it. You did great.
You took down a scheduled video 3 times. And I was like, Oxy, no, you're good. I promise you the video is good.
So yeah, honest advice, like if you're going to take anything away from the podcast, gentle listeners or the people watching this, get a channel manager, even if it's just like your mom or your best friend who can just be honestly like, this video's shit. You shouldn't have put it out there. If it's not you, then it's okay. I think that's what we've learned today.
Oh, 100%. You got to separate yourself. And it's hard sometimes. I'm not going to pretend I have it perfect, but something I try do a lot is just be like, okay, cool, that's my content, this is me, not the same person. Very business-esque advice, but it's true.
It's good to have that divide, because then when you have the bleed over and it reflects in your content, like you're having a shitty day and you're like, I still need to record this still needs to get edited, you get frustrated with the edit, or things go wrong, as things historically do in this industry, because tech is unreliable and we live in a society. So it just ends up I'm just pulling all of the bags of tricks and all of the anecdotes that I've like collected on TikTok and like YouTube over the past 10 years. You can see all my influences here today, and that's kind of the point. Well, that train of thought left the station without me on it.
Bye. Sorry, making me low-key dizzy.
No, it's my fault.
Oh no, it was Mosh's chair.
Yes, I blame Mosh's chair. Hashtag blame Mosh's chair.
Hashtag Mosh's chair is over party 2024.
Chairgate.
Cancel Mosh's chair on Twitter.
Chairgate controversy. No, let's not cancel Mosh's chair, people, please. I'm sure it's lovely and has a family.
No, it makes a lot of noise whenever I move. It's awful. I hate the chair.
I would like to just go back to and rehash a little bit about what you said there, Alex, about like studying marketing projects that like brands have been doing with content creators, and looking at advertising and looking at it through a critical lens of, oh, this works, this doesn't, and having that like business mind for content. I would like to pick your mind on this. What are some of the unexpected skills or hobbies that you have ended up picking up as a content creator that you wouldn't normally have considered getting into?
Well, I mean, coming from that, genuinely, my company does not have a marketing department, and I am slowly somehow becoming my company's marketing department, plus this one, because it just ended up happening. And that is literally just from hyperfixation on it. Literally just from looking at our products and being like, okay, but this isn't working, and going to the people in charge and being like, hey, here's why it's not working. I didn't study it. You can hire someone who studied it. However, I've done a lot of research. I know why it's not working, and I'm telling you why it's not working. And that's how I just keep getting offered projects in the marketing field when I didn't even do it. Also just a bunch of random skills.
Okay, would you...
Like,
is there anything
mostly
that stand out,
crafty
maybe?
skills.
Ah.
Mostly crafty skills. Like, my sewing is nowhere near what it should be. But I learned to sew. That was something I didn't intend to do. I am also a qualified makeup artist. You know, we can go ahead and pretend that it was because I wanted to be a makeup artist, but if we're going to be completely honest, it was because of cosplay. Because I was like, yes, need more skills. Let me go get a qualification in this thing. I am also qualified in film, which realistically was like, I have to study something, because my dad was like, yeah, you kind of got to study something now. You've taken your time, whatever, pick a degree and study it. So I was like, okay, well, I make content. And then you go into the space and everyone's pretentious and film students and look down on YouTube, and you're like, I am a YouTuber. I stream on Twitch. That is why I is here.
You have too many qualifications.
Oh yeah, way too many. I like upskilling though. I like getting more skills. I like being able to do things. I don't like when I can't do things though. On the opposite side of that, like when there is something I want to do and I just don't understand how to do it, that is one of the most frustrating things to me. And that is why I'm qualified to do so much that I don't do a lot with most of the time. I will like learn how to do something for one specific purpose and then never use that skill again.
Well, you've got quite the repertoire behind you, and I must say it definitely shows in everything that you've done to date. Your passions, your hyperfixations, and then picking up these skills has definitely built your content, your channel, and even the persona that you present online, very much to a point where I can see the work that you've put into it. Now I'm going to throw this question at Mosh because he's ignoring me. What sort of skills and hobbies did you pick up because of content that you would have normally have picked up? And please don't drown.
First of all, I am not ignoring you. You just asked a question, Alex, so I shut up.
It was for the floor, so whoever wanted it. But not anymore, now it's directed.
Hi.
I don't know.
Okay,
okay.
Because it's like, oh, I saw this on TikTok, I want to try that, or what skills have you picked
Wait,
up?
No. Okay. Mosh is full of nonsense and thinks he's never had an original idea in his life, okay? And then we get into this discussion constantly where I'm like, Bestie Boo, you do so much stuff, like constantly. And then this happens.
I've never had an original idea in my entire
As little or
life.
as much as you want to say. There is absolutely no hassle if you're just like, I tried this, it
Okay,
didn't work out.
let's see. You learned how to use OBS.
Ooh.
We literally started a small business in the past like month.
Oh, that was fun. That's very stressful. I now know how to market things. I can edit, but I could do that before I started content. So that was, like, I can add to it, but now I can, like, cut it more, do it. Audio makes me want to myself, but I can do audio now. I like 2 days ago, set up audio and put filters on the microphone without even being able to hear it, and I'm pretty sure it sounds, like, pretty decent. I can color grade now. I understand lighting to an extent. I think
This is the part of the video where the lighting gets to us, though.
yeah,
It
but,
tends to.
but like I think a lot of the subjects I did in school were because of my content. Like I kept changing subjects every 2 seconds. Let's be so for real. But a lot of them I was like, it could help with content.
I see. So it was sort of like oh, this is like the one true drive, the one true passion. Anything that I can learn that can help me get better at this is what I am going to make my personality now. And I relate fully.
Yeah, but also like I didn't really care too much about what was going on in school, so if I could make it like as like semi-interesting as possible, I was like, okay, I'll do that thing.
I understand that as well.
We do try integrate life into our content a lot. And that just comes down to the no time and the enjoying making content.
I can do makeup weirdly well now.
You are very good at makeup.
That's another one to the repertoire and the resume that we're going to write out for you in the description.
I'm 19, leave me alone. I need to study first.
I'm 19, leave me alone.
I have a job, I've moved out, I live in a different city to what my family lives in. I've earned money, I buy food, leave me alone. I'm 19.
I'm only baby, not living at home anymore. Please protect. No, but I can say, and I must say that I can see that both of you, this has been an absolutely like very good thing for yourselves. It brings out a side of you that I don't think you would have ever normally been comfortable or been like happy with presenting. And I must say that I'm glad that this industry that we call ourselves in, this content world where, as you so very tritely put it, nobody cares, so we make shit regardless. And
I mean, yeah, well, with love, we would not be friends if COVID didn't happen.
No.
Neither would we. Neither would any of my friends be friends with me. Because I was on a very different life path, which was just completely...
You wanted to do biology.
Okay, yeah, but that's a hyperfixation that I didn't have the word for being a hyperfixation. So I was just like, yes, this is the only thing I'm kind of good at and I'm passionate about it, so I must study it. But realistically, I'm very glad life took me down this path. I am a much happier person, I am much more mentally stable, and I'm really happy with what I'm doing with my life.
And we moved out together.
Yeah.
And if that isn't a sign that you should start making stuff now, then I don't know what else in this hour conversation we've had so far is. So if that's the only sentiment you take away today, it's that make content and move out of your parents' place.
Yeah.
No, don't move out of home. Don't move out of home. Make content, stay at home.
Stay at home.
Yes.
Home has
Stay-
food.
Yes, please. No, not
Stay at home.
spicy.
Stay where they feed you as long as you are safe there. Stay where they feed you and make content. That is the takeaway.
That is the actual takeaway. No, it's probably not even going to make the cut, my version, because I'm deranged. I've been doing this for too long. I need to quit. Anyway.
No, don't do that. We've just established that's a bad idea.
Yes, never quit. Keep going. Just do it. Like, editor, whoever. Add the Shia LaBeouf sound, please. Just once. Just that's all I want, please. I'm busy doing this to like stall myself a little bit because my throat is very dry and I've still got many questions here. Fuck.
Okay, well, if we're stalling a little bit, bathroom break.
Bathroom break.
WaterBear will be back after these short messages.
Entertainment.
So now we're moving on to the segment of the show where I'd like to open this up a little bit more to a little bit more of like a naturally flowing conversation. The questions are kind of start to take a little bit of a backseat now because it is with great pleasure that I welcome the segment of the show. So, favorite movies, TVs, games, frickin' all of that good stuff. If there's something interesting that you've seen recently and you'd like to just hyperfixate on and overshare about, then go ahead. This is the place where you get to go nuts about whatever the hell you've been enjoying recently in the entertainment space. And go.
Gravity Falls.
Oh my gosh, the Book of Bill being out has made for the most amazing content, and I am so upset that I do not have a copy. But I have been loving the internet because of it, and everything it's brought up just in the Gravity Falls space has been incredible.
Gravity Falls is genuinely one of the shows that I like rewatch like annually, and every time I rewatch it I'm like, I so wish it existed in the time of TikTok and like fandom era that we have now. And with the Book of Bill coming out to like talk of like season 3 sort of, it's actually allowed a chance for a bunch of Gravity Falls fans to actually come and make edits and make headcanons and talk about it in such a creative way. I've seen new animations, I've seen like comic strips now, like the creativity it's bringing out in the fandom is just so incredible to me.
Yeah, it's been really cool. And it's been really cool for the fandom to be alive again, especially because, as you said, when it came out, the fandom space just wasn't the same.
Yeah, we had like fanfic.net and Tumblr, that was about it.
It was Tumblr and fanfic.net, so aka Tumblr.
Yeah, the fanfiction you would like, the good fanfiction was on Tumblr. We didn't even have AO3.
Okay, you're moving the table, bestie boo. We are going to have earthquake video if you don't stop.
Technical difficulties. No, that's incredible.
Speaking of shows that I did not know that there was a fandom for until recently, and the fact that I have found out that there is just a massive fandom, we just don't talk about it online because it was such a collective fever dream. And this is one of my favorite shows, is Disenchantment. I don't know what's up with that show. Every time I watch it, I get more confused, but it is one of my favorite things in existence. I think it is brilliant. I love the humor behind it. I love how weird and bizarre it gets. And one of my favorite parts about it is just how often it calls out how on the fly they were making stuff up. And genuinely, there's just scenes where characters will be like, it's almost like we're making this up as we go along. Because it is. That's how bizarre the show is.
Also, it has a ton of plot holes, and they have one character that points us out continuously.
It's the last episode of every season.
Yeah.
And then he gets shot by a flaming arrow.
Every single final season episode, Mads recaps all the plot holes in the episode. He dies. I was like, cool, now we're ignoring them again.
Now that we're up to date and no one's gonna like self-insert more quick, now we can proceed.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. I love when things are incredibly self-aware.
For sure.
I think it's because I'm very self-aware.
Speaking of things that are extremely meta and have meta commentary, have you guys actually seen, and I don't know how this is related to what I was just saying at all, so we recently got the Season 2 trailer for Arcane. Thoughts? Have you seen it? Are you even more excited now? I know one of you has committed a cardinal sin and not finished it yet, but we're not going to divulge on that. For the sake of brevity.
I haven't watched it yet for that reason. Because, okay, so now my thought process is, it is close enough that I am just going to have to full cycle this from season 1 into season 2. That's how this is going to happen. Because there is nothing else I can do at this point.
I'm really excited about Arcade. It looks really cool. Love the animation style. I'm really looking forward to like everything that's going on with it. However, something that this is such side note. I'm really pissed off about the miraculous change in animation, and they look like shit. And yes, I am talking about Miraculous
Again.
Ladybug again. Oh, but the Minecraft movies trailer just dropped.
And
Do you know,
that
I've
looks
heard such
awful.
bad things about it that I refuse to watch it. I just point blank will not watch it because of how bad people have been speaking about
No,
it.
but it's like...
And I'm
it's-
disappointed.
It's so upsetting because it's like I've seen so many people say that they're so correct. It's basically just going to be a carbon copy of the Jumanji plot, and Jack Black's character is just going to be like a character that got stuck in this universe or goes back and forth between the universe to the point where like he's actually believes that he's Steve. And the worst part is it's not even like a Sonic situation where we can bully them into fixing the animation style, fixing the plot, like fixing shit that they did wrong, because we're not even the intended audience of the show, of this movie. And yes, it's going to go on to like the what's it called, the box office, and it's going to make like a lot of money for them because there are people that this movie is for. But it's so frustrating that the actual like players of the game are not the intended people for this movie, because we have been waiting for it for so long. And in the time that the trailer has been out, the amount of people that have utilized the tools that like people used it for the music videos back in the day, actual animators have come out on YouTube, all these creators, and have made an actual like better representation of what the Minecraft movie should have been if it was catered towards the players of the game. It's just so insane to me that like in such a short period of time people have done this, and you had what they've been working on it since like 2015, and the best script and way they could like think to make money off this movie was to pander towards a demographic that's not even the people that play the game, and it's the people that just want to be like, oh yeah, I played that game once, I'm gonna take my kids that now that I have them to go see this thing. Yeah.
Your
No,
lights
I
gave
agree.
me the worst ADHD distraction.
1 second, I can't hear.
Whatever your background lights are, I zoned into them so hard. The moving colours.
Shapes and colors.
No, it was very bad. I completely zoned into that, and now I'm trying
I
to
will
just
actually
like.
shut the door.
No,
I
it's
will
okay. You can
actually
leave
shut-
it. You can leave
can't-
it.
You
It's
can't
all
even
good.
see it in my shot. Like, my mic's in the way. That serves no purpose except to catch you off guard, apparently. And distract.
The device you're on is dying. Mosh is trying very hard to save its life.
To keep it alive. Then I think we can actually move towards the sort of wrap up phase, just to like shotgun and / lightning round whatever's left, and then do the whole last thing, whatever the hell the plan is. I'm spitballing at this point. Okay. You see, the sad thing for me with the Minecraft movie is that because it's already so far in development and it's already so close to release, there is nothing that the actual people who have been excited for it and the people that it was originally marketed for aren't going to get like out of it. And as someone who saw that trailer, dude, it's awful. The sheep don't look like that. Commit to the bit. It's either you go full Minecraft or full freaking CGI goofy sheep. You don't do a blend, people. Blends never
They
work.
should. No, like, yes, we're all excited for fucking Jack Black and like Jason Momoa and stuff, but they should have been voice actors. There was no reason for them to be like live action characters in this movie,
Yeah.
in my
I feel
opinion.
that. No, I get you. Even without seeing it, I'm just scared to watch it because I was so excited, and then I just.
But
heard
again,
all of
we're
the
not the
stuff,
target audience.
and I was like, no, I'm sad. I thought maybe you could do it right, and I don't know why I let myself think that.
It's whenever we hope that these companies come and steal it away, except for the Sonic movie. The third one and Jim Carrey's
I'm very excited.
reprisal looks very exciting.
I'm very excited for the Sonic movie, but not like because I really enjoyed the other Sonic movies, or that I respect, or like I'm super into it as a franchise, literally just because they listened, and they were one of the teams and like one of the production crew that's actually like looked at the fandom and was like, okay, we actually want to do right by you. And the fact that so many like movies and so many big Hollywood like companies don't care about like the people that actually care about the concept, especially with them now making 1 million video game movies. It's just,
yeah, every movie nowadays is a video game movie. And what I don't think they understand, because they've found this like gold mine for profit, is there are fandoms behind these video games. There are people here who have opinions on this, who actually get really excited. But you don't want to cater to us. You just want to use the name of a big movie, a big video game, and make a lot of money off the general public.
Yeah, IP patent.
Which it doesn't do justice to where the source material comes from, which is so sad.
And for those of you who are unaware, yes, I have read the Sonic Bible as per Brian David Gilbert, and the Sonic movie does follow the canon. You're welcome, fans. Anyways, I would like to just wrap up the entertainment segment, unless there's something else that you maybe stumbled across on Twitter or Instagram that you'd like to just briefly throw in there that's exciting, or something that you're looking forward to, maybe that's releasing soon?
Miraculous Ladybug Season 6.
Alright, valid.
Yeah, you have that. I think I've been a bit preoccupied with everything. Also, sometimes I just let new content slap me in the face, and it's great that way. But sometimes there's like 1 million things that I'm very excited for. I think I've outrun all of the things that I was waiting for this year. Besides, of course, Arcane, which we have mentioned. But everything else that I was waiting for to come out, to be released in any capacity, has already happened.
Watch Miraculous.
No. You
Watch
will not
Miraculous.
indoctrinate me into your cult.
You might sway me, but for those of you interested, give it a watch. If it's recommended by a guest on the show, it can't be that bad, right?
It's awful. It's the worst show I've ever watched.
I don't know. I have not seen a single episode of this in my life, so you can tell I'm out of my depth here. Well,
You
at
should watch
that,
all 5 seasons of it.
I am definitely going to, at some point, maybe. I can't promise anything.
I'll send you so many memes.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of looking forward, we are now moving on to the final segment of the show, where we discuss your
Content forecast.
which is basically a segment about any projects that you may have in the works that you would be comfortable with revealing details of, that you want to drop little sneak peeks of, kind of things that you're working on in the background maybe, or if there's anything else that's exciting that's going to happen in your content in the next 2 months even. We'll give you that much time frame with Comic-Con that's on the advent soon, and the potential content opportunities that are going on there. What are you excited for in your content for the last bit of the year?
So, Comic-Con's a weird topic to get into now, because I'm super excited for Comic-Con. I'm super excited for our cosplays. I don't know how much I want to say here about this, but I'm going to be very honest. I'm a little disappointed with Comic-Con at the moment. I really am. In a very brief, summarized version of what happened, and it's why I kind of mentioned at the beginning of this video that yes, we are cosplayers, but we do other things. We presented an idea to Comic-Con and they were completely going with it, and it was great. And then due to lack of planning or whatever, or just wanting to group us in with other content, with other cosplayers, they basically reduced everything we do to cosplays. And there's nothing wrong with being a cosplayer. Don't take that the wrong way. I think people who put all of their time and effort into cosplay are incredible. It's just not what we do. We don't do it on a professional level. We're not trying to do it on a professional level. It's a fun thing that we do, and we do it so rarely, in all honesty. We do it for cons mostly at this point. We barely make content out of it. And it really hurt, especially when it's like, yeah, we actually had stuff to say. A lot of what we spoke to you about now in terms of being your own biggest fan, enjoying your own content, all of that stuff. And now it's so generic, broad questions that don't even really apply to us anymore. And I'm still grateful for the opportunity. I'm still super excited to see all of you guys. I'm excited for our cosplays. We're in the middle of making a lot of them at the moment. It's very cool, and that's going to be fun. But that was really disappointing that it actually got us to the point where we were like, this keeps happening, and we're considering figuring out a way to rebrand our name. That's how annoying it got.
No, I agree with that entirely as well. Like, don't get me wrong, this is going to be out there, so with all due respect to the Comic-Con team, should you be watching this or listening or whatever, I think you guys had a great thing going, but when people that are actually in the industry and have interesting things to say come forward with ideas and then you just try to waterboard it under corporate babble and selling more tickets and making things as generic as possible in the hope that you don't have to pay people to come out, because if you actually had to ask the big questions or actually have us provide proper insight, I bet a lot of us would charge hourly rates as well. So that's just something to consider for the team there. So I'm with you in this boat as well. I will be attending the convention, making some brief content, vloggy stuff, but I'm just going as a fan of the event, mostly to meet friends. So I don't know if there's any content plans that you guys have for around con time to kind of capitalize on the hype that's been building around it, even though it's like to a lesser extent than yours prior. But is there anything that's coming out around about then that you'd like to maybe drop a little sneak peek in? Because I can guarantee you there is no way this is dropping before Comic-Con.
So in terms of con, I was trying to make content of the actual process of getting the cosplays together. Realistically, things have happened. It's very last minute, and I'm trying to focus on actually having my cosplays because I'm a lot more excited to have those and use those for content than trying to get content of me making this, which is not going well because I don't have time at the moment.
We also don't know how to do it.
That too.
We don't know how to do behind the scenes. I don't know why we keep pretending we do. You can be like, oh, remember to get footage so we can do like a little behind the scenes video. Maybe we should figure out how to do behind the scenes.
We're okay there, Mosh. You seem to be having a lot of issues. But something actually before Comic-Con, which we're looking at doing, is we've been struggling with a lot of things, just adjusting to a new environment, and we were thinking of making some vlog-type videos of just doing some cool stuff. Like, we realized we could go see penguins, and I really want to make a video of that because I think that's super cool. I can just go see penguins. That's a vibe. Also, we found an art gallery, which we thought we'd put in that series, or just going to the beach and messing around. I'm hoping the weather gets better for the beach. However, the wind has been crazy. So, very much struggling with the beach weather. But I'm actually very excited to make these videos, and I really want to go see the penguins.
I love that idea. What about you, Mosh? Are there any projects that you've got coming up maybe, or any ideas floating around in that noggin of yours that you'd be excited to produce before the wrap-up of the year?
I mean, we are okay, so the vlog content is just like a really exciting thing to do. We're very bad at it. So we must figure it out.
Cocktails.
Oh, the cocktail video. That's gonna be
coming out soon.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Your partner literally tried to unalive me.
I'm sorry. Well, actually, I'm not sorry. He must be sorry. This is not on me. This is on him. I take no responsibility at all. I don't know. I think
I'm going to throw a project in here, which we have been planning for literal years, and we haven't got around to it, and maybe if I put it in here, it will actually happen.
Conspiracy SMP! Well, that was what you were gonna say.
Yeah, it's literally been, we've been telling people we're going to do this for a long time.
We've sort of been dropping hints on social media for like 2 years now, and we just
I'm starting to think the entire conspiracy SMP is going to be the conspiracy on what on earth this was actually meant to be, because there is a paper trail. If you go through our social media, you will find a million hints.
Well, that's
We just don't have friends to do. We need friends. How do you make friends?
Oh, I have an idea. I need you to tell me if this would work or not. I want to go up to people, right? And I want to do the whole drug dealer handshake and put a piece of paper in their hand. So, like, that will say, we have Avatar, want to come over. Or we have Minecraft, want to come over. Is that an appropriate way to make friends?
The jury's still out on that one, but I found it works better in bar settings when it's a personal number and you're trying to hook up with someone more than like, I have this thing, come visit, because then you're getting I own a white van vibes.
Yes, but I have Minecraft.
But I also have Minecraft.
So here's my Discord.
Oh
Oh my god, I want to airdrop people Discord and be like, Minecraft, question mark?
Minecraft
I don't
server
even-
now?
I don't even have an iPhone. The other thing is, I have a bit of a specific idea with this one, and I want people who are going to match the vibe. And I don't exactly know what the vibe is, because I don't even know if I fully match the vibe with the way I play Minecraft. And that's kind of the issue here. And I've owned... What are you doing?
Technical difficulty.
I just don't understand what is going on in my peripheral vision.
I have no idea. I just witnessed this. That's why I was like semi-listening, semi-not, and I was just waiting for you to catch on.
No, I was trying to ignore it because he does a lot of stuff, but that was strange. Oh, okay.
We have idea. We need friends that are content creators. We have friends that are content creators. We have 2.
So, okay, no, the problem is that I don't really know what I want out of Minecraft and using Minecraft. And I've had a lot of servers where there are people who are a lot more experienced with the game or have very specific ideas of what they want to do with the game. And then I get very overwhelmed because I'm like, okay, but I'm just trying to vibe. I'm not the best player. And I acknowledge that, but I don't want you to finish the server and basically speedrun it. And I'm just sitting here like, I don't even understand my own server anymore.
Okay.
I don't want to be on here. I don't know what to do with it.
One thing that was like really, really great from the Dream SMP is it completely like it reshaped how we looked at Minecraft. Like, yes, Minecraft is dying out, and then PewDiePie did his series, and it just like shot back up. But then with the Dream SMP, it was a new way of using Minecraft to tell a story. And yeah, like the Hermits were doing it a little bit, but not on the same scale and not to the same extent. And then a lot of like lore SMP started to build from it, and that was really incredible. That's sort of where this idea stemmed, and we have a form of idea, but we don't want to like make a Minecraft server and have people on it who are just going to do their big builds, kill the dragon, get their elytra, and just move on with their lives. We sort of want to like storyboard it a lot and have different things going on and have a very scheduled and structured nature to it, although we've never like really figured it out. And in periods of time where we think we didn't have the people to engage with it, because like we had a lot of friends who played Minecraft, but again, those are people that just play Minecraft casually, and by all means it's like completely up to them. They wanted to go and just do it in a very chilled manner and like do what they always do in the game and have their normal 3-week Minecraft phase, which is just not what we like wanted
We
to
want
do.
a story.
We want a story.
It doesn't have to be 100% specific, and we love improvising. We love improv in content.
Sort of
But
exactly.
we had a story in mind, and we feel like every time we play Minecraft with a lot of our friends, it just gets overrun with other stuff.
And it's like a big commitment that even if we ask a lot of people to do, it's like it's a huge thing because it's going to take so much setup. We have to do builds beforehand. We have to sit in creative mode and build this world, and then come up with backstories, create character pages, just like an entire thing. That it's something we really want to do, but we've never like fully developed.
The worst part is, now that you mention it, I actually do have our base storyline.
Yeah.
And I do have our characters, and I do have like the points that we wanted to hit. I just don't know who to do it with. I think that's a big part of the problem with it.
It can take a lot of like preparation to actually get those people who are in a very similar space who wants to engage in like a collaborative storytelling experience. Personally, my recommendation as someone who's played on a couple of lore SMPs, and this was a big part of my content, look for people who play D&D, because they'll get the role-playing aspect. That might be a good place to start. See if you can find a crossover between those two. But this sounds incredible. I am actually super excited to see when, I'm not going to say if, knock on wood, when this comes out. I am really excited to see what direction you take this, and I'm very curious to see what sort of like narrative ideas are going to come to the forefront, and how you're going to stick to that like combination of like storyboarding and then having like a brief outline, and having like some parts of the world be like predetermined and like fully scripted as part of like the world's lore, but then also integrating the improv style that I think you two actually excel in as well. Tie the whole thing together into a uniform project, and I'm super excited to see what you guys do with that.
Yeah, I really hope we get around to it, because it's been a very fun idea that we've been playing with for a very long time.
If we storyboard it properly, we can start looking for people.
Yeah.
I think also that actually presenting that like outline will make people be like, okay, right, there's something here, this is the kind of vibe we're looking for, and it will pull people in. And just putting it out there, by no means, I know a person who might be interested. Anyway, I'd like to just begin to wrap this up a little bit, and
I should probably sit down.
if you'd like, Emily. Let me just unparch my throat quick. Is Mosh gonna turn to me slowly and say, I've been expecting you, hair oxy? Or not, apparently. Anyway. I think, like... Okay. Just checking that you aren't, like, in a knife fight between you two there. I think with this and this very, very exciting like little preview that you've given the show, which I am eternally grateful for. Like the entire plan was to like get you out here and talk about the stuff that no other people really know about. Get like the insider scoop. So that is awesome. Speaking of narrative-driven content, have you got any other plans going forward for something along the lines of I'm just going to throw a brief idea out there, like a Markiplier style Who Killed Markiplier, like any IRL-based, almost skit-driven narrative content that you guys are looking forward to, maybe? Or is that not a possibility you're looking to explore?
So I would love to.
I would love to do that. The closest thing to that we're actively working on at the moment is more CMV style content.
Sorry,
dude. Because they just do take less time, and as I've mentioned multiple times throughout this recording, time constraints are a thing. But I mean, Mark's content is massive inspo for me for a lot of stuff I've done. I would really love to play around with that stuff. Don't know if it's going to be something we do anytime soon, though.
Well, we can always leave that window open and file that away for another time. But regardless of if this actually comes to fruition, the mentioned IRL narrative-driven content comes to fruition or not, at the very least, I'm excited to see what you guys produce next. I'm excited to see where you take the channel and your unique brand of the mixture and the amalgamation that is the two of yours personalities, which is like you have your own areas, and we've also seen through our conversation this evening that you do have your own roles here, and I for one am excited to see how this evolves further and what you guys are going to release next. I'm super stoked for whatever it is that you may be sneaking away that you're not telling me in that possibility.
Well, thank you for letting us talk about ourselves. We like doing that.
We're very narcissistic.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're content creators. Every content creator has to be a little bit obsessed with themselves.
What?
Did I just get called out on my own podcast? I just stared down the barrel of the camera when saying that. But Alex, Mosh, the two lovely faces and the two minds behind the Cosplayerminds, which will be linked down in the description, all of their socials. We're talking about the Instagram, we're talking about the TikTok. Not the super sneaky one that they've divulged sneaky details on, because I can't find it. I'm going to be honest, I'm shit at my job. But I will link all of their socials and everything, so you can go and check them out. Please continue to support their ideas, their projects, and
we're even on Hive. We don't know how to use it, but we're on there.
We're literally everywhere.
Every time we find a new social media, we create an account.
Even Fresh Cut.
What's a Hive? Just I put the mic on somewhere.
Oh, we don't know.
I think it showed up when everyone was like, Twitter's going away, and we joined. I don't know.
We're on so many things. I think, I don't know. I think I'm on like 7 different versions of Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know what most of them are.
7 Twitter clones and then Twitter Prime as well. But yeah.
Oh no, I just have that to beef with you. That's the only reason I'm on Twitter.
Audio listeners, for those of you unaware, there's become this little inside joke between Alex and myself where we will get into a friendly argument of toxicity on Twitter between each other when, in certain circumstances, Alex will post a dumb take and I will respond nicely and get attacked.
No. I ask a question. And then you pick a side so I can take the opposite side, because it's never anything I'm that invested in.
Well, either way, I love your guys' energy. I believe that you guys have got some very incredible things that you've done so far, and I'd love to follow your journey further. So, at that, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show and joining me for this very incoherent sit-down chat. I appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedules of putting together cosplays, fighting off the problems that is adulting, and between work and everything else. So I appreciate you coming on. It was an honor to have you guys on.
Thank you. We appreciate you having us. Genuinely, this was fun.
Of course, it was an absolute privilege, and again, you guys were just lovely this entire time, and I have so much respect for what you guys do as well, because you're so more multifaceted than me. I'm trying audio for the first time in my life with this show, so
we're proud of you.
Audio is difficult.
Audio is very tricky. So with that, we're gonna wrap this up. For those of you who are interested, give the other episode a check out. It's just me rambling about some random bullshit. The WaterBear Podcast will have a couple more guests on in the coming season, and you can check it out wherever podcasts are found, wherever that may be. So thanks for watching, audio listeners. Thanks for listening and bearing with the incoherence that was today's session. And we'll see you next time, only on the WaterBear Podcast.